All right, good evening. I would like to call to order the Board of Library Trustees meeting for this Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Brown? Here. Trustee Gallo? Here. Trustee Kelly? Here. Trustee Meadow?
Here.
Trustee Rule?
Here.
Trustee Zick is currently absent. President Samari.
Here. All right, let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start with public comment, Trustee Zick is unable to be here in person because of a family illness. So could I have a motion to let him join via Zoom?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Do we have any public comment? No. Liaison reports. I see the friends here.
We have our next sale coming up in November, and we got our dates for 2025. So they should come out on the calendar soon, and Brian, from who we appreciate all his efforts, bringing us our new bookmarks for this year. The big announcement I did have was we had applied for a grant to help cover the costs of the AV upgrade in the Hendrickson room, and it just came through. I got a call today for $89,000 through the Bill Illinois Bond Fund to the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. So we'll be working with Mike.
Congratulations. That's fabulous. Good way to start the meeting. All right.
Right, I have a computer issue.
I can't see anything.
It's just sort of frozen. Oh, you got it to move, okay. You're better than me.
All right.
This is why.
We have a report from the foundation.
Yes, we do. So I have a short report from the foundation. All committees are now back to working on their given assigned areas since their summer hiatus is over. They have a vegetarian fundraiser at the Maker Place coming up on October 7th. Their strategic planning is continuing, so this is a process that they're going through currently. They received the platinum level of transparency from GuideStar or Candid. Their 2024 impact report will be shared with all donors in October, and their next meeting is in November, so hope there will be more to report then. That's everything I have from the foundation.
Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting from August 20th.
Right, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular board meeting from August 20th, 2024.
Second,
A seconded?
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And next is approval of the committee of the whole meeting of September 9th, 2024.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes from the committee of the whole meeting on September 9th, 2024. The second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. And thank you for taking over the meeting, Trustee Gala. I watched, it was a good discussion and that was really helpful. Moving on to the financial report for the period ending August 31st.
Okay. For the financial report, real estate tax revenue totaled $3,530,805.50 for the month of August. The library received personal property replacement taxes in the amount of $6,892.89 this month. Copier printer revenue totaled $4,067.66. Meeting room fees were $150. Lost item charges totaled $1,435.15. August interest income was $34,880.54. Donations totaled $199, but I want to note that we also received a $28,228.86 donation and an $84,398.74 donation this month for distributions relating to estate trusts in which the library was named as a beneficiary. We won't see these amounts in the schedule because they're recorded to our balance sheet as deferred revenue until they're used. We plan to apply these generous donations to the purchase of our new bookmobile. So it's a real nice start to that. Let's see, revenue collected for vehicle stickers totaled $315. Our makerspace miscellaneous revenue was $735.51, and other income was $1,123.50. Our total revenue collected in August was $3,580,654.75. On the expense side, we have made it through 67% of our fiscal year, and we've expensed 63% of our total operating budget. Our favorable variance to date is $597,045, and 35% of the total annual capital budget has been expensed as of August. I did receive a question in the expenditure report on page 5 under commodities. It's account 6004613202. The question was, why is that one over budget? The 6004 accounts are, that is our donation pool, our donation budget line. And we try to estimate what we think we're going to be requesting from the Friends or receiving in donations or spending out of donations at the beginning of the year. However, things come up throughout the year where we ask the Friends for things such as like our laser cutter that we recently, that our Friends recently funded for us. That line in particular was a number of projects that were giving books out or projects or different, I think there were bookmarks, there were books, there were a number of different things for first-time library users. It was a number of different projects that the Friends funded for us that we hadn't accounted for at the beginning of the year. So it was just things that had come up throughout the year that we looked to our Friends to help us support. So we do our best do our best due diligence to try to estimate what those are going to be at the beginning of the year, but it's really difficult with the 6004 line. So that is why that one's showing over.
All right.
That is everything I have for the financial report, unless anybody else has any questions.
I do have one weird question. I know we have like fees for replacing things, but is that fines? I was thinking of fees and fines being the same thing, and I was trying to figure out, but fees are, never mind.
Yeah, the replacement fees, if somebody holds a book too long, then they are billed replacement fee.
Right, so, but then fines,
Are probably outstanding fines that are still on records, or I'm trying to think, I don't know what else is in that line. Unfortunately, Tracy's not here this evening to be able to tell us.
I was
But
just trying to figure out what the difference.
I can provide that at our next meeting and just give a
Yeah, I'm
definition.
just
of
curious what, there seems like 2 line items, and like, I'm not sure what the difference is. Thank you.
Any other questions?
How about the check register?
Okay, I have a few checks to highlight. On page 12, check 102998 to Macquarie Equipment Capital in the amount of $5,360. That's 2 months of our new copier lease costs under the new 5-year agreement. We approved that at the March board meeting, whereby we now lease a lot of our copiers and I think we have a couple printers on there as well. On page 16, check 103044 to Williams Associates Architects in the amount of $2,075. That's costs related to the structural alterations and roofing work approved at the June board meeting to support the new cooling towers. And to give you guys an update on that, that is past permitting, and the contractors are currently in the process of building that and scheduling when they're going to set it in place. So that should be coming up real soon. We will have a disturbance on Dutton Avenue for probably 1 day while they bring that crane out and set it in place, but that is moving along. On page 24 and 25, there's various checks there marked as OBOB. So those are program costs related to our 2024 OBOB initiative. As mentioned at the August board meeting this year, we will host 18 programs and 8 book discussions related to the Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Branner. And then on page 46, check 102939, it's to AHML, which is a MasterCard charge in the amount of $612. That is an upgraded hatch embroidery digitization software, which allows all levels of makers to create custom embroidery designs easily and intuitively over at the Makerplace. So just a little upgrade for our embroidery system over there. Anybody have any other questions about checks?
I move the board approves the accounts payable check register for the Arlington Heights Memorial Library for August 31st, 2024, in the amount of $1,135,936.63.
Second. All right, we have a roll call, please.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee McGowan? Yes. Trustee Kelly?
Aye.
Trustee Meadow?
Yes.
Trustee Zero? Aye. Trustee Dick?
Yes.
President Samari?
Aye. All right, thank you. Now for your report.
All right, to the director's report. So I will highlight a few things out of the director's report. Starting on the first page, the Collected Regrets of Clover has been named our One Book, One Village choice for 2024. The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Branner has been selected for our annual community read, One Book, One Village. The title was revealed on Friday, August 23rd, during a kickoff party in the library's Hendrickson Room. With a nod to OBOB celebrating its 11th anniversary, Jennifer, our Programs and Exhibits Manager, shared an entertaining look back at the 10 books previously chosen by the library since launching its Community Read initiative in 2014. Following the book's announcement, partygoers enjoyed food from Fausto's and fudge from Kilwin's, giveaways, and special activities inspired by the Collected Regrets of Clover. Activities included anonymously writing confessions, regrets, or advice on Post-its and putting them on a board, identifying places attendees wanted to visit on an oversized world map, answering questions from the Death Deck game, and more. If you're interested in the One Book, One Village initiative, you can visit our website at ahml.info/one. Then on the next page, Mary, one of our circulation assistants, and Catalina, our community engagement liaison, participated in the Omni Book Backpack event, where they engaged with over 300 attendees, most of whom were Spanish speakers. Many attendees stopped by the library's booth, discovering a variety of services available to them while picking up backpacks. In July, the library hosted a collection drive for Omni, and it was inspiring to see the impact firsthand. Over 700 backpacks were donated that night. And then Nikki, Neil, and Jay from our Programs and Exhibits department welcomed 31 humans and dogs alike at the Dog Days of Summer at the dog park at Mellis Park. Community partners Bentley's and the Buddy Foundation offered treats and adoption opportunities at their own tables, while our Programs and Exhibits staff managed a library tent with snacks for both owners and their dogs. Giveaways and a drawing, which included a blank water bowl for winners to customize at the Makerplace. On the next page, Catalina, our community engagement liaison, and the Bookmobile team and youth services advisors had a blast at this year's Arlington Heights National Night Out. They connected with over 700 community members who visited the Bookmobile, made fun crafts, enjoyed giveaways, and learned all about library services and book programs. And then Sasha, our Director of Communications and Marketing, was one of the panelists speaking about marketing library programs at a LACONI, which is Library Administrators Council of Northern Illinois, program for library staff in the Chicagoland area at the Northbrook Public Library. The Insights and Strategies to Advance Program Marketing panel also featured Linda Bring from Northbrook Public Library and Jennifer Cordova from the Waukegan Public Library. And on page 4, it's a wrap on the 18th Annual Teen Film Fest. 8 films were screened and prizes were awarded in 6 categories. Following the fest, attendees enjoyed snacks, a photo booth, and more in the hub during the Teen Film Fest after party. The films can be viewed on our website at hml.info/teens/filmfest. Okay, then on page 5, Eddie, our info services librarian, and Nicole, our youth services advisor, hosted the first genealogy for kids program last month. Kids between the ages of 8 and 12 came with their caretakers to learn more about the importance of family history and how genealogy can be a fun and rewarding treasure hunt. Participants created a family tree poster complete with archived photos to take home. And on page 6, our senior and accessibility staff coordinated 2 generous donations of state-of-the-art gently used electronic desktop magnifiers from families of a staff member and a resident. One magnifier was added to the Tech Learning Center earlier this summer, and the latest donation is now available for use at the library's Senior Center branch in the computer room. And let's see, on page 7, the 3rd annual Heritage Fest, presented in partnership with the Arlington Heights Park District, the Arlington Heights Historical Museum, and the Village of Arlington Heights, had an amazing turnout this year, perhaps the best in the past 3 years, with over 600 attendees. The fest showcased more than 14 different cultures through interactive tables and performances, including 6 booths from the library. Just a thank you to the staff in our community and circulation services, youth services, collection services, info services, and human resources departments for participating in the event. Our graphics team created a passport for the event, which attendees used to visit each table, and then picked a prize out of the giant treasure chest. Then on page 8, our info services staff led staff training on voter registration and important election information. Over 20 staff members in info services received refresher training or signed up to become deputy registrars through the Cook County Clerk's Office, registering 7 new voters this month. Info services staff also created Ask Me About voter registration buttons and a voter registration kiosk. And then Chris, our MakerPlace assistant branch manager, solved a longstanding problem in the library's music collection. The plastic dividers that keep the CDs organized are poorly made and break frequently. They're very old. Chris designed a better product that could be made on our 3D printers at the MakerPlace. And thanks to Chris, we now have a product that is durable and works well. The collection staff will replace the old dividers over many months. So just a really cool application of 3D printing. And then on page 9, a lively wood carving group drew a crowd at the MakerPlace with their impressive artistry. As they wrapped up, they were intrigued by a fellow MakerPlace regular, a former AHML newsletter featured creator, who was busy laser engraving intricate patterns into freshly cut wood. It's moments like these where creativity and collaboration blend that make MakerPlace a hub for meaningful connections. That is everything I had from the director's report. Does anybody want to highlight anything else or have any questions about any of the programs? Anything?
Right.
Just real quick, you know, 2 headlines stood out to me, and thank you for all this. You know, on page 2, you know, AHML continues to build upon partnerships, and then on page 9, you've got MakerPlace fosters community connections. Thank you for highlighting what we're doing and the partnerships and the connections that we are making in the community. These are obviously we are here for the community, and these are the type of things that we need to highlight. It's great to see that we're getting out there. So thank you to all those that participate in those. And then are we going to patent that thing that Chris came up with so we can get something off of that?
And, you know, we did talk about maybe making it available to other libraries, because I'm sure we're not the only library with these this type of shelving, and the plastic dividers, I don't even know if they're available anymore. So I think it would be cool if we at least made it available. I don't know if a patent's in order, but there might be some infringement there. Yeah. So, but it's just a really cool way we could fix it and maybe even make it available to others. Who knows?
Great. Thanks.
Major kudos to Chris on that.
Yeah.
That's great.
I had something in, obviously, so much is going on as we are out in the community in lots of different areas, which is terrific. I know when we were doing the strategic plan, one of the sort of groups that we talked about that's really hard to reach is that like 20-something, like emerging adults or young adults. And I was really intrigued by the talk and taste that Brian did several times in August, because to me, that those kind of classes are something that like someone who's newly out on their own and some of the apartment buildings downtown are kind of have a younger crowd than others. And, you know, it seems that Arlington Heights is building a few new, or there's a few new buildings being built. So I just thought that was such a good class for someone that's just learning how to cook or how to, you know, think about meal planning. So I thought that was that would be a great time for that kind of audience. And the other thing I was thinking in going through this, I'm sure we do this, but you know, reaching out, like I was looking at, oh, how many new library cards? Like at a certain point, does everybody have a library card? Probably not, but working with realtors, you know, a lot of realtors, when someone buys a house or a condo, certainly give their clients like a little gift. And I wonder if there's something that we could give them, or we do give them, to encourage these new residents, if they are new residents to Arlington Heights, to, you know, come to the library, get a library card, look at all that we have, whether or not, wherever you are in your stage of life.
I do believe we have a presence in the
Yeah.
welcome kit that goes out.
Yeah, Kathleen and I are part of the community connections.
Yeah.
And we just launched, these welcome bags
Mhm.
that, will be filled with the library, village, park district, and community events. Where in there is a little piece of every, organization, there's schools, there's us, park district,
Right,
village.
yeah,
So that's at least a little bit.
That would be fun.
To that.
maybe when it gets going, will you bring a sample for us so we can see it? And again, every time I watch a village board meeting, we're talking about some new buildings, so let's make sure that we're reaching out to the people that are moving into our town. That's great. Anyone else? All right.
Yes. Then next up, as part of the director's report, I would like to invite Diane and David to talk to us about our new digital services technology class. What is artificial intelligence? So Dan, you want to go ahead and
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Oh, I'm just introducing David. So David is our technology instruction coordinator in digital services. He's responsible for planning, coordinating, often leading many of the classes. We have dozens of classes that we offer here every single month. And David has a new class that he's recently added to introduce people to AI. And because it is so popular and taking off, I asked him, we all have questions, but could he come and give us a flavor of what he is, educating our customers about and what his plans are for other classes. So David, turn it over to you.
Okay. So, about artificial intelligence, kind of a quick version of the class. Obviously, not enough time for the whole one here tonight, but just to kick it off, I asked ChatGPT what AI is. So this is according to AI, what it is. So we've got human intelligence in machines designed to perform tasks typically done by humans, essentially. So according to AI, that's what AI is. So brief history. So all the way back in 1950 with Alan Turing, he had his paper where he proposed all about talking about machine intelligence. Has anybody heard of the Turing test before? Right, so yeah, basically, this is if you have, you know, you're in a third-party observer and you've got two parties talking to each other. Can you determine if one of them is going to be not a real human? So that was back in 1950, that kind of theory was already proposed, and now pretty much modern day, that's about where we're at. Is can AI pass that Turing test? 55, so that was when we actually coined the phrase artificial intelligence. So even after the Turing test was proposed. And then 1966 was actually the first, what was then called Chatterbot, what we now know as chatbots. So this was a mock psychotherapist that used natural language processing. So you're just talking to it like you would a regular human, and it's able to respond to you in natural language. So it's, again, you're not doing any kind of coding. You're not getting any kind of complicated response. You're talking like a human, and it's talking back to you as well in the same manner. Kind of jumping ahead, we've got some early autonomous vehicle navigation. So this is the Stanford card. And it has the honor of being one of the first things to autonomously navigate a room full of chairs. So it's come a long way. I've got one that's cut from the other class where we've got rovers on Mars doing the same thing, but same thing, we've got wheels, batteries, and then a camera just raised on a higher platform just for better visibility, but that was back in 1979. Over on the right there, we have Deep Blue. So that was the first computer to be a world chess champion. And again, you kind of think you've got your computer there, but here in the back is actually what the AI is. That's the whole server rack essentially running the processing power, kind of what you see on the screen there, running the chess game. Jumping more towards the modern era. So 2020, OpenAI, they started beta testing GPT-3. So that's a program used to create code, poetry, and other natural language on writing tasks. So while not the first one to do that, this is the first time that the content created is going to be close to being those generated by humans. 2021, OpenAI again, they developed DALL-E. So that's a combination of Salvador Dali and Wall-E the robot, if you're familiar with that film. So this is a AI that's kind of been created to process and understand images. So the first version of it was to create accurate captions. So you show it a picture, it's able to give you some text of what's actually being depicted in that picture. This is some examples of DALL-E. So on the left, is going to be 2022, on the right is 2023. This is the same prompt, so it's just different versions of 1 year. The response it's able to kind of provide based on that same, again, initial prompt. So you can see just over a year, you're still kind of getting a, you've got your cookie, you've got your glass there, but just visually, it's definitely going to be a big difference between those two images. So this is a picture that I had generated by AI about 2 months ago. And again, with a lot of things with AI, it looks pretty good at first glance, but then a lot of this stuff, the longer you look, you start to notice some imperfections or weirdness going on. I like to point out over here, kind of looks like these are melting a little bit. Not exactly what you typically would see. Over here on the left, also, this is going to be more of just like a traditional computer tower instead of like a server rack. And also, if you kind of look up at the ceiling, that's not really how ceilings work, just with the way the grid lines and the lights and everything. It's like, again, at first glance, oh yeah, that's going to be servers. And then as you kind of look at all the little details, it starts to fall apart a little bit. And this is the prompt they used for this was just AI server farm. The other example, so this one was, see a little bit of more detailed prompt, gigantic suburban library viewed from outside at dusk with dense foliage. And we've got, again, a pretty good approximation of a suburban library, makes it kind of like a house in a library. Kind of see the path leading up to the front door. That's, you could do it that way, but many people are going to choose to lay out their steps like that. Probably not many. You've also got the front door over here, which again, the door, one of these is kind of off to the side a little bit. And the porch light, for some reason, ended up all the way over here around the corner. You can also see we've got a chimney up here on the second floor that then kind of disappears down here on the first floor. So again, first glance, looks like a really good picture, but as you kind of start to look at the details, it doesn't all quite add up exactly right. Now I've got a pop quiz for you guys. So we'll see how this works on the computer. We'll see if we got it going. So this is going to be the difference between AI generated images or, oh, that's got it, right? Scroll down a little bit to a little bit more to that right there. And then if you can hit F11.
You know what, I'm gonna just change the share real quick because I'm
Yeah.
not sharing. Okay,
I think that's pretty good. All right. So this is what I hear. We'll kind of take a quick vote where you guys can just say, you think this is real photo or AI generated?
AI.
AI?
Is it Steven Spielberg?
All right, so correct. This is always going to be AI.
Like, I'm such a little trying to make it bigger.
How about this one? AI or real?
Real,
It's real.
Couple reals, any AIs?
AI, the shadows.
Okay, so how many AI do we have? Raise your hands.
Right up to
You had a point, I just.
Okay, we have got more for real. Oh, here we go. So this one was AI.
See, because the
The
shadows.
shadows,
Oh, you're right.
again, yeah, look up at the light, it's kind of hitting from different parts, from slightly different angles. Okay, how about this one? AI or real?
Gonna go real.
Okay, a lot of real. Yes, so this one was gonna be a real photo. All right, how about this one? AI or real?
It says ear on the other side.
Yeah, it's just dark.
I'm gonna say real.
All right, so how many for AI? And how many for real? We got one more for AI, so we'll go for that one. And this one was AI. All right. How about the next one here? AI or real?
Hard to get the eyes right, that's what I.
Yes,
keep looking
yeah.
at.
Also, not to ruin any of these, but hands are also another one where it really does not get hands right a lot of the time. Thinking this one is AI or real?
AI.
Okay, so how many for AI?
I think it's real.
I think it's real.
I'm going real.
How many? Okay,
Yeah.
more for real, all right. So yeah, this one was real.
Mm.
Let's see over here.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, that'd be great. A little bit better than a choice there. All right. Okay, how about this one? AI or real?
The AI.
All right, how many for AI? And how many for real? Okay, we've got more for AI. And this one was real.
Really?
The hands aren't weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And the shadows also.
How about this one? AI or real?
I'm gonna go AC because of the reflection. There are two guys.
No.
I'm getting a headache from when I sit so close.
You have more AI or real?
AI.
AI. Yep, this one was AI. All right, how about this one? AI or real? This is a little bit small, this screen.
Look at that one, this hand looks weird.
I think it's real.
Or hand is like.
Is it very so?
So how many for AI? How many for real? Okay, go for real. But this one was AI, so again, this is.
That weird.
Yes.
The
the
fingers
hand-
are coming.
Like he's holding his hand like that.
And she's like, I got something, you know? All right, how about this one? AI or real?
I think the shoulder looks
Yeah.
weird.
Yes. Yep.
His shoulder looks.
So you guys pretty much got that one, so this one is AI, and yeah, especially with the shoulder, it just kind of
Yeah.
comes out in a very unnatural angle.
Yeah, it's just really certain.
All right, how about this one? AI or real?
It looks very touched up, so I would say real.
So how many for AI
Glamour shots real.
and for real?
It's like when they're so overly touched up.
Yes, so
Yeah.
this is real. All right, how about this one? Any for AI? Any for real? Okay,
Nicholas and Nicholas just stayed inside, right?
so this one was real. All right, how about this one? AI or real?
Hope it's AI.
It's a hey,
You know, so
realistic pose or facial expression. Yes, this one.
Okay, good. Sorry if you're a real person.
How about this one? AI or?
AI.
It's AI.
Okay, how many for AI? And how many for real? Okay, AI is have it. And this one is AI.
Yeah, the branches look weird.
What's
The branches look like they're not going in the tree the right way.
Yeah. Again, a lot of times what the main prompt is looks fine, but I guess
It's
it's
a-
kind of around it. Some of that stuff just kind of fades out a little bit. How about this one? AI or real?
I think it's real.
I think an AI.
Okay, how many AI? And how many real? More for real. And this one was real. All right, last one. How about this one? AI or real?
Yeah.
AI? How many for AI? And how many for real? More for real. But this one is AI, I'm saying. They're unnaturally long, they just kind of keep going.
And his shoulders, one side is like straight and the other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right there, yeah.
Going on here with
That's.
Everybody's a little off, so I mean.
Then someone's LinkedIn profile. They just made it, it's totally, yeah.
So yeah, that's just to point out, again, this was from back in February, so AI even, so now is gonna be a little bit more, even more convincing than that. Yeah, you can go back. So on to how AI works. So this is a good quote, Arthur C. Clarke. So any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that is effectively where we're at in the literature with how AI models work. So this is pretty much the black box model. This is the main one for large language models, how a lot of the ChatGPT like and the chat box are gonna work. You've got your data, you have an input, some kind of a question you're looking for. It goes into whatever the black box model, whatever the AI does or is working with it, and it's going to output the results. So obviously, there's gonna be some potential problems with this. So flawed decision-making could come in, based on, again, nobody's really sure what's going on inside that black box to get that decision at the end of it. Potential for bias and knowledge gaps. Again, you don't know what data the AI is going to be trained on. There could be potential bias on where it's sampling from, or huge gaps that is not going to be included in that data. There's really no way to tell what's going on inside that black box. Legal and ethical accountability. So again, a lot of this is going to factor in if it is going to be something given like a medical diagnosis and it gets it wrong. Who's going to be at fault there? Is that the doctor? Is that the patient? Is that going to be whoever designed the algorithm or the AI system there? A lot of this is going to be still a legal gray area right now. Trust issues and sensitive applications. So again, if you're dealing with medical or financial stuff, it's giving you answers to questions you have, but these are pretty important topics. So again, without kind of being able to see how that decision is being made or the steps it's taking to get to that conclusion it's giving you, again, something to weigh with how that particular model works. And the last but not the least one, there are others obviously too. There's big risks with personal data. So again, if you go into that medical or financial examples, it's going to be trained, kind of how it got to that process, whose data is being used in the background to kind of base all these decisions off of. Are they aware of that? Whole bunch of questions, again, not really knowing how these particular models with AI work. Even the companies developing them, nobody there knows how the entire process is going to work. Everybody's, you know, if you've got a team of a dozen or 100 or 1,000 coding, everybody knows their one part, but there's really no one kind of going start to finish the whole process for how it comes to give you a particular conclusion. This is a little slide kind of showing about how some of the Students, AI integration is gonna be used in different schools. So all the way from AI free up the top with the 0, AI assisted, so in some parts, number 2 is AI enhanced. As they put it out in North Carolina, Infinity on the bottom is gonna be AI empowered, so something schools are dealing with right now too, is just being aware and, kind of factoring that into different projects they're working on about how much AI is going to be allowed or not allowed, or documented along that process with whatever we're doing in the schools. So to wrap up, there's gonna be more AI classes here at the library. Next Monday, we have a generating AI in Photoshop class. This class, the full version, will be offered in October. And in November, navigating the future AI in education for parents. I work with programs and exhibits department, as well as District 25 and District 214. So we're gonna put together a presentation and a panel on how the local schools are dealing with AI and kind of the guidelines they're working with.
Are those gonna be available after? Is that something that you could do like in the Hendrickson room or somewhere where you can video and have people watch it later if they can't attend?
Yes, the last one, Navigating the Future for Parents, that one is gonna be in Hendrickson, yes.
Nice.
And it will be recording.
That I'm not sure about. We're still planning that right
Yeah,
now.
it'd be great if you
Yeah.
could. I mean, that's something that, you know, that can be a hard time for parents or whatever, but it also is a really good way. We need to be using that Hendrickson room, you know, upgrade that we did. It's a good way to showcase that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody have any questions?
So interesting. I think in certain industries, it's really gonna have a
Yes.
bigger impact. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
out of town and there was a seminar on it. So the local newspaper had 2 articles about it the next day. One from the reporter that was there and the other AI generated. And they were really similar.
Yeah.
They were really, really similar. So certain careers or parts of your career, I think can really AI is gonna take over. Interesting.
Well, I used it today because we have a class that we want to run. And we couldn't come up with like a cool name for it. So I put in there like, you know, a catchy name, you know, title / name for this event, which would be a parent-child class, blah, blah, blah. And it popped up pottery playtime. I'm like, done. So we're not even covering called pottery playtime. But like, I just, you know, when you get stuck, like.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Interesting. Well, and I think, I was just listening to something and I can't remember how the professor did it, but it was a college professor. And to ensure that their students were actually reading the material instead of just like kind of using, you know, all the devices out there to write the paper, she had like a code word, like they had to have, there was like a nonsense sentence somewhere. And if you didn't have that, then that meant that you actually didn't read the material or whatever. So I think teachers, educators are really gonna have to
Yeah.
think about.
Some of them are also using like with assistance for their lessons plan.
Sure,
So
Sure.
And I also, I just took a seminar with Thomas also, I heard that Chat GPT is the one that talks more like, you know, we do to each other.
Right.
But the one from Google, what is that called?
Gemini.
Gemini is current, so Chat GPT is anything that's happened in like the last year and a half. It may not have reference for, but so when it doesn't like show up, if you know, something happened, you know, last week that you're trying to like get it to talk about, it may not be there, but if you go over to Gemini, it would be there. But it will talk more like a robot than it will like person to person.
Interesting, yeah. Well, it's not going away, so we need to.
It's here.
One more tool, and it's how are people gonna use that tool exactly?
Great.
Yes, I think it's so important that we're doing this because I know that a lot of people have this preconception that like they have to, that's fake or it's gonna look bad or it's gonna
This
like.
overwhelm is not.
Like I know
it's
they're gonna
created me.
negative
Yeah.
quality, right, but to be able to take something and use
Yeah.
it very good. I think that'd be good.
Absolutely, I mean, this interview, the physician was talking about how he used it to help him take notes, like just a listening function, right? So that's not the best use of his time or somebody's time, but synthesizing all the information is what humans can do better. So anyway, interesting. I'm glad we're doing cutting edge classes like that. That's awesome. All right, old business. Thank you, David.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so under old business for action item 5, awarding of the 2024 interior renovation project. We talked about this at the September committee of the whole meeting. So bringing it back for continued discussion and consideration. So we've been working with Andy Dogan from Williams Architects and Brooke Irving from Shadows Construction on this project. This project will update our the rest of our public restrooms, the lower level garage entrance in the middle of the building, as well as adding a new public all gender family restroom on the second floor where our vending cafe is currently. We went out to bid for this project. Our base bid came in at $420,993, which was $42,027 under the preliminary estimated budget for these items. And once you add in the contingency, supervisory and architect fees, graphic signage, all that stuff, the total base project came in at $653,023, $46,977 below the $700,000 budgeted amount. So part of this bid included a number of alternates, whereas if the base bid came in under, we would look at adding some of these alternates. And we had 9 alternates that are listed in your memo there. Based on that pricing and our priorities, we recommend acceptance of 4 of the alternates, 1, 2, 5, and 9, and that's to refinish the court entrance stair handrails that come up. Those are definitely showing their age. We'd like to refinish those. We'd like to redo the ceiling in the core entrance. We'd like to install wall tile on all the walls in the family restroom or the all gender restroom. And we'd like to redo the flooring in the staff locker room. So we're redoing the flooring in the core entrance. That staff locker room is adjacent to there. We want to just continue that flooring into there. I think it makes sense. So with all of those alternates, that brings our total to $698,488, which is $1,512 below the $700,000 budgeted amount. We recommend keeping that $1,512 in the project for added contingency. There is contingency built into all of these, both the base bids and the alternates, so that is considered, but we'd like to just have that additional $1,512 in there. So basically what this comes down to is on that last page of the memo, the bid packages are laid out here with the total contract amounts. The total contracts with the alternates total $430,569. If we approve this and move forward, we'll be able to start probably late September, early October, and finish before the end of the year. And during our phasing and timing of the project, we will consider our larger programs that are happening and try and minimize disruption to our customers for the public restrooms. That's my summary. You guys have any questions? Would like further information, anything? Right ahead.
No, I just more of a comment that that I feel very comfortable with this as presented, and especially appreciate how you mentioned that those alternates do include contingency, but also as noted in the memo, that construction management architect fees too. So everything, it's like all included. So again, I feel very comfortable with those alternate bids, including all of that, and then also that 1512. So just a comment.
All right,
There's a question.
Greg.
Hello there. Yeah, I got a question and a thought. One is I was trying to play with the math here and I can't seem to get it to work out here, Mike. On page, what is that, 3, we're showing the bid package and where it's gonna go to. You got a total of 435.69. And I get that doesn't include the contingency, construction management, or architect fees. But I'm having a hard time getting from that 430,569 to this 698,488. Because when I put in, the 10% contingency and the construction management and all that kind of stuff, it seems to be coming lower than actually the 698, the math I'm coming up with. So
There is a $25,000 allowance in there also for, one of the alternates included replacing, the restroom doors. For all the restrooms, because the doors are looking a little aged. We did not include that as an alternate because the alternate also included new frames and, electric openers, which, about doubled that cost. We would like to just have an allowance of $25,000 to refinish or replace just the door panels themselves. So it is possible that is playing into those calculations. Is that help explain it, or?
no, not really. I'm still kind of confused what really the total amount is that this is going to be once we put out these bids.
Well, wait, say your numbers again, because I don't see those.
Well, because on page 3 here, where it's showing all the bid packages for Ostrander, Nidro, Hartwig, Airport Electric, you've got a total here of 435.69. And
Yeah.
that's saying these are what we're recommending the contracts to be. Okay. And it says it does not include contingency. Okay. A 10% contingency. So throw 43,000 into there. It doesn't include the construction management or architect fees, which should be this 189,931. Unless I'm fat fingering my calculator, I'm not coming up with this 698.
I mean, it should all add up. We did go through these numbers and the numbers in these contracts are just the base bid plus the alternates minus all of those other things. So you are looking at a couple different ways of looking at these numbers. I do feel confident in the 698, 488.
Because when I do the 430,569, I add 10% contingency into that. And then I add in the 189,931, and you're saying that this 430 is including already all the alternatives for 1, 2, 5, and 9. When I do all that, I come up with just under $664,000.
Now, keep in mind those alternate prices that you're seeing there, those do include the contingency and all of those other costs.
I see on this page, it's the base bid is 429.93. On this page, it's 435.69.
But those are different, actually. The base bid is the 420.
Okay.
The 435.69 is just the contract amounts of the base bid plus the contract amounts of the alternates, not the contingency and, supervisory and all that stuff. So it's showing, kind of how it looks from our end and then what the contract amounts are.
Okay. So here's my thought. I'm still a little confused and concerned. Actually, I'm a lot confused on exactly what the numbers are. If we do this, if we decide because you want to get this going and we have to approve it tonight for you to get to October, and I get that, to get that going. We approve it for we approve it for 700,000, and that's it. Now, if my numbers are right, which I'm doubting that because I'm thinking there's something missing that's not in these numbers. That means we have actually a contingency here somewhere around, my brain's not working right now, $35,000. So what was that?
I don't think it would be that high because there's a $25,000 allowance added.
That's built into it.
To the contingency. I mean, if it would be off, it could be off by a couple thousand. It's not gonna be off by 35,000.
Well, I'm just saying that because that's what the numbers total up. 664, 665, I'm just rounding, let's say round up. That's where I'm getting that 35,000 if we do 700,000. So these numbers just aren't totaling up to what it is. But I think if we do vote on this and approve it tonight, we just have to kind of go, it's 700,000. We do everything in the base bid, we do all the 4 alternatives, and that's where and that's where it's got to count down to and just be at, and not go over.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate since that's what we budgeted, 700,000.
Greg,
So-
would it help to walk through the numbers on
Yeah,
page 2 here
Let's do
and kind of, show you kind of how the math is adding up?
Sure.
So we had the base bids come back for a total of 420,993. That's all the contracts just for the base. That is essentially just the contract amounts for selecting the things identified on page 1 without those alternates. We then add the 10% contingency, which is $42,099, which gets us to 463,092. Does that make sense so far?
I see where you're getting that number from. Yes.
Okay. Then we take that and then add that construction management, the architect fees, all of that stuff, which is an additional 189,931. That gets us to 653,023. And then we add in those alternates 1, 2, 5, and 9 that we want to move forward on. And those total 45,465, which brings our total now to 698,488.
And that all makes sense. I guess where it's getting me confused is when we're on this page 3, where you've got that 435,69. You're saying that these are going to be the awards that we're going to be giving out. And if I put in that, what I didn't do in my number before is I didn't add in that $25,000 allowance for refurbishment of the restroom doors, and that brings it up to just about 689. So it's still $10,000 below where that 698 is.
I think what you're maybe not seeing is the bid package on page 3. Those include the alternates.
Yes,
Yes,
right.
that includes
Yeah. So those include the alternates that we've selected.
No,
But I think what he sees is if you look at alternate bids 1, 2, 5, and 9, they're like 30, 40, like $45,000.
Yeah.
So
Right. I- this is
420 and
different.
45 is like 465, but this is saying 430. Is that what you're looking at, Greg?
part of it.
There's contingency.
There's all the contingency and additional fees built into what you're seeing on page 2, those alternate costs. I wanted to give you the full picture of what those.
Okay,
alternates
so that
would
has
cost.
contingencies in
Yeah, if you strip
the
all that,
alternates, not just the 10% up on the base.
exactly.
Okay.
So if you
They're really
strip all
two
that out,
separate
46 here, but
You gotta consider them as totally separate. This is, you're reporting the bids, base bids for the required work and these four alternates. That's
Yeah.
separate. And then over here is, adding in the contingencies and all that kind of.
essentially our total cost, the
Yeah,
whole,
our
I wanted to
total
show you
cost,
the
yeah.
total project cost, but you
So-
do need to see those contract amounts.
Yeah, and these are the contract amounts of what we'd be approving, yeah.
So it won't add, I think because the total is 430, trying to make it add up here to the base.
It
Bid
doesn't.
subtotal, the force that you might be seeing like 400, thinking that they have to somehow add. But as Carol pointed out too, they are two separate. I mean, I see what you're saying, but it's two separate things. Like the page 3 is separate. It's what was bid out, including the base and all the alternates and all of that packaged. Doesn't
But
help.
those should be the actual numbers based on the way this is written up. Now, since it's going under, since my math is going under what it is, that's better than it going over. So that's fine. I would still feel more comfortable if I could see the, get those two to match up. So
It's because
again,
the
as I
alternate bids include the contingency, whereas the base bid, then there's a contingency. So the alternate bids already include the contingency, correct?
On
On page 2, you're saying
Yeah,
those
page 2,
the
that's
things that are like
why,
45,000.
yeah.
That includes
That's
all
where
of
the
those ancillary
Yeah.
fees. So I do have another document I can pull up from SMC that kind of breaks this out a little bit more. Let me just bring it up on the projector here. So maybe this will help.
I started with subtracting everything out of 698, and I still showed a difference of 7523. Start with this, subtract this, and contingency, and I'm still, so I think it maybe just be in the way it's presented.
Yeah, so I think there's a 10% contingency in the base, but we don't know how the contingency is broken down across these alternate bids at the bottom of page 2.
Right, so if you look at these,
Take 90% of each of those numbers.
I'm not sure, is it
right?
exactly 10% or is it like, how is that, how do they get to that, 55, 70?
yeah, so here's all of the additional charges for each of these alternates. So here's the contract amount for each of the alternates up top. And then these are the additional charges. So design contingent, or basically contingency, and then supervisory costs, stuff like that. So that's where we get these totals. But this is
Yeah,
actually
there's a
what's
50,
included in
70,
the
30.
contract amount.
But do those have the contingencies? Oh, I see that, okay.
Separate.
Design and construction contingency, and then the supervision fees, permits.
Yeah, and
Okay,
even at 25,000, we have here, that's the door replacement allowance. So I mean, here's a full breakdown essentially of the total amount.
yeah, so I'm seeing those numbers at the bottom blue that equal the bottom of page 2.
And this version is about $100 off because we made couple minor changes after they sent this to us.
So it's a 653,122, and where this showing 653,023.
Mhm.
Okay,
Right, yeah.
okay. Okay,
So I'll
yeah,
give-
I like that.
Yeah.
Does that help, Greg? Where's Greg? Oh.
Well, I think it might be, I heard somebody say something in the presentation, how this is presented on the paper. I think what I'm going to rely on here is that number or the number that you've got, since like you said, Mike, it's a couple $100 off, few $100 off, I'll rely on that. And back to what I said before, we're just going to budget this, or we should approve it at the $700,000. And that's it. And for that $700,000, we need to get everything that's on this paper, the base and the four alternates.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. Mike, can you email each of us this page?
Sure.
Just for so we have it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll get the updated version of that from Roy, just so you have the correct numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, updated numbers.
With those, with that understanding, are we comfortable approving this? I mean, I think it would be good to approve it. We already have budgeted this money, and also it would be great for them to get started and get it done.
Oh, in that vein, I move that the Board of Library Trustees accepts the base bid results plus alternate 1, 2, 5, and 9 for a total project amount of $698,488, plus an additional contingency amount of $1,512 for a total not to exceed $700,000 for the 2024 interior renovation project.
I second.
May I have a roll call, please? First, any discussion? No, okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Dora,
Yes.
trustee Gallo.
Yes.
Trustee Kelly,
Aye.
trustee Meadow,
Yes.
trustee Rule, trustee Zick,
Yes.
Bye. Good, that'll be good to get started on that.
Yes, thank you. Just,
All right,
is anything else, Mo?
new business. How about the award that the library won?
Oh, yes,
Tell us about
another,
that.
yes, so we recently received an award for collaboration with the Arlington Park District. This was something that the Park District had submitted. It's a Park District award that they had submitted on our behalf along with them. And so we were selected as great collaborators. And so there is a award ceremony on, I say it's October 25th. So we'll be receiving that award. So big
And
thank
it's
you.
from the Illinois Association of Park Districts.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so big thank you to Carrie Fullerton who submitted that on our behalf. I think that's awesome. And, you know, we love working with the Park District. They're great partners and love to see that recognition of that as well. So,
Good,
It's wonderful.
Yes.
That's great. Congratulations.
yeah, thanks.
all right,
Great.
anyone else? Any other, I enjoyed seeing the picture of our trustee in.
Yes, the
Exactly.
bookmobile was great. All the kids loved it and we signed up some new people and they really pushed OPOV.
Good.
And it was an 80s theme. So some of the library staff was like, what, is this like a Taylor Swift party? All these girls who dressed up, I know it's like 80s, but it kind of looks like Taylor Swift. Yeah, so it was very nice of them to show up and had a good time. So it was a great addition to our block party.
Good, and I'm assuming the end of September is the. I'm forgetting what they're calling it in downtown, like the end of
Harmony.
Harmony Fest.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have a
Jason,
presence
we'll be
there?
there.
Yeah, yeah, we're everywhere, so I assumed, good.
Just one more thing for other, just want to let you guys know that for the November board meeting, I will not be here. I'm getting married in November and we're taking a nice honeymoon to Italy. So I will leave you in Dana's capable hands in my absence. So I'll be here in October, but just wanted to give you a heads up. Thank you
Congratulations.
very much. Thank you.
All good news. All right, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?